countdown should begin any moment.
Yes, indeed. I'm going to start the game since both the guys did say they were ready. So here we go, guys, with our first game of this quarterfinal. EG.iNcontroL against Hydra. Two fan favorites, and I can't blame the fans, man. I'm kind of a fan of both of them as well.
Me too. Me too.
Both of them are so incredibly funny. And it's kind of funny because they're so funny in different ways.
Yeah.
Hydra is just funny by being himself, and EG.iNcontroL is just somehow really funny.
I want to know who the fans want to win the most.
Why don't you ask them, Max?
I will. In the top right-hand location, give it up for the blue Protoss player, EG.iNcontroL. And in the bottom left, give it up for the red Protoss player, Ro8.
Wow, that's kind of close, Axe. That's really close. So we're going to keep a close eye on the openings of these two guys. I want to make sure we don't miss anything, certainly in PvP.
Yeah.
Just a Chrono Boost or an 11 or 13 gate can already make a world of difference. Hydra building his first pylon quite close to this ramp over here.
Yeah.
Wonder if he's going to build his first gate over here, which is obviously not a bad thing, but often you see Protoss players rather do that with a second or third gateway.
Yeah.
Because you lose a little bit of mining time. Now when Hydra wants to build his gate, he's going to have to send his probe all the way to the ramp, which is not the biggest deal, but hey, it's a mirror match after all. All small things matter.
I mean, another thing that could be considered there is scouting any potential, brave probes who decide they want to build a pylon in their opponent's base where they've just settled, leaving their own home. So it could be looking out for that, and again, setting up that wall off in case he needs to take advantage of that defender's advantage of having the top of that ramp walled off a little bit to limit that choke point and limit the accessibility of the enemy's units. But that being said, both these players doing standard stuff thus far. No crazy, cheesy shenanigans. Ro8 putting down a gas at the same time, essentially as EG.iNcontroL. Ro8 a tad ahead in that regard, but it's not too big of a deal.
Definitely not. Well, EG.iNcontroL getting his own assimilator as well. EG.iNcontroL is scouting with his probe, and he's also checking for proxies. He's going to scout the wrong base first for him, unfortunately. I'm a little bit surprised that he checked for proxies over here, but didn't check over here, because most of the time when Protoss do cheese on this map, they often build the gates over here, or maybe even here in the bottom of this natural expand. But EG.iNcontroL did not check there. Then again, it's no biggie since Hydra is not cheesing.
Yeah, I can't even recall a moment when Ro8 has done a proxy, to be honest. Adding on a cybernetic square behind his pylon, rallying his probe, probably going to make a second gateway instead of making the Zealot, and then probably going to open with 3 Stalkers. We'll have to wait and see. I could be completely wrong, which I am a lot of the time, but it looks like, not this time, a second gateway going down. Meanwhile, EG.iNcontroL taking a really early, actually a relatively early, I should say, second gas before the Cyber Core is complete. He needs Zealot on the way for him. He has enough money.
A very late scout by Hydra, I must say. If you take a look at Hydra's vision, this probe is the first thing that he scouted, and he actually skipped the Zealot, as you pointed out. So you could say this is sort of risky, because if he would have got proxied, he would have been in a ton of trouble.
That's true.
But he has a lot of faith in the manner where EG.iNcontroL EG.iNcontroL would not do that to him. Protoss brothers among each other should never proxy each other anyway, man.
I don't know, man.
We have to fight together.
Some people, I would proxy you if we played each other, I think.
Yeah. That's the thing, we will never play each other. Just kidding, Axe.
I challenge you to a show match.
I accept.
Oh, I didn't think you'd accept.
No, of course I accept. I accept every show match. I'm sorry. Meanwhile, we see EG.iNcontroL actually stealing the assimilator from Hydra. Hydra opening up with 3 Stalkers. He could have used all 3 Stalkers to take out this assimilator, but that's actually not what he's going to do. So now he's already forcing himself to be very aggressive, and I really wonder where Hydra is going to take this.
Yeah, it is pretty interesting adding on a third gateway behind this. And again, not killing that. Maybe trying to do some 3-gate aggression, expanding behind that. That's one option.
If you're EG.iNcontroL right now, you have to be worried. He's not attacking that assimilator, and you open 2-gate robo. So EG.iNcontroL chrono boosting out his first sentry. If you take a look at its warp gate upgrade, it's going to take at least 40 more seconds. Hydra.
He's going to definitely try to get up into the main base of EG.iNcontroL here. It's all going to come down to the force field and target firing that probe, making sure he's not able to make any pylons.
Hydra's probably going to build 2 pylons over here straight away. He's going to get vision straight away with this first Stalker. He has vision on the sentry right now. EG.iNcontroL, what are you doing? You need that force field. He's going to lose the first sentry. He will pick off that 1 Stalker from Hydra, but will the other sentry be out in time? I don't know.
Oh, there's no sentry on the way. Warp gate's about to finish. I guess he can return warp gate in and then warp in a sentry. But Ro8 gets up the ramp with 2 Stalkers. EG.iNcontroL might have to pull some probes. He needs some orbital finish coming out of the robotics facility. Probe trying to get us around onto the Stalkers. Is going to pull his probes to the back of his middle line to try to complete that surround. In.Control is going to get the Immortal out, and White.Ra is he going to back away or commit harder?
He has 4 gates, he's warping in 3 Zealots already. Here comes an Immortal though for In.Control, that also important Immortal. As soon as he picks off 2 Stalkers already, but still, In.Control is going to lose a lot of probes over here. He might be fine in the long run, even though right now 5 Zealots in the main base. It's going to be so hard for In.Control to micro this properly.
He needs to warp in some stuff here. He's not supply block, doesn't have a terrible amount of money, but White.Ra might just win it here, warping in more and more Zealots here, chewing apart the mineral line of In.Control, and now his Stalkers and Immortals are surrounded. This could be the end for In.Control in game number 1.
Yes, indeed. He's going to lose that Immortal. He's going to lose these Zealots probably as well. White.Ra still warping in units in the main base of In.Control. GG. First game goes very decisively to White.Ra. What's up next?
And there we go. In.Control is going to lose game number 1. White.Ra taking it. That was pretty impressive. Just some basic 4-gate aggression there that In.Control was definitely not prepared for.
Yeah, but that was kind of weird because he stole the assimilator, so he had vision of...
Like,
yeah. Well, of course, you could still worry about an expand, as you pointed out, but you have to worry about 4-gate when the guy is actually not attacking your assimilator. You have to worry about that. Just letting that first Stalker come up the ramp and losing that sentry, that was the biggest deal. But even if he wouldn't have lost the sentry, he wouldn't have had energy for an additional force field.
Yeah.
So he really needed the second sentry, but he never got it.
Yeah, he made. I was looking at his gateway after he made the first sentry. I thought it was gonna be a second sentry. He made a Zealot after that sentry, and then I'm like, okay, when Warp Gate finishes, he can do that. But Warp Gate was still about 90% when the sentry died, so didn't have the availability of adding on another sentry to cushion another force field down there, and he paid for it. So. Again, White.Ra taking that game quite comfortably with some 4-gate aggression and control, perhaps not reacting the best way he could have. But this is a best of